Is it the thought of getting an easy life with money? Is it the fact that he's trying to beat the odds? With a gangster, there's always something.
It's often been said that women are drawn to dangerous men.
The bodies were discovered down a secluded farm track at around 8 o'clock. All three had been shot in the head with a shotgun.
We followed three women who have entered into relationships with gangsters as they experience the excitement, heartache and danger of life as a gangster's wife.
It's the way they sort of just flash everything in front of your face straight away and want to give you this and give you that. Who wouldn't be impressed by all that sort of stuff?
Then he became a drug dealer, bouncer and gangster, part of the notorious Essex drugs gang.
He's funny, he's loving, but I certainly wouldn't want to be his worst enemy.
If you love somebody, you'd give your right arm for them. Alex wouldn't. He'd give me somebody else's.
Mainly girls just to hang out for the night to make them look good, and plus they like female company anyway, especially young girls and that. 'Cause I mean, a lot of them are a little bit older. It's nothing to do with escorting or anything like that. I don't get paid to do what I'm doing. I mean, they do have girls there that are getting paid for it, but I don't get paid for it. I'm generally friends with them, and and I generally have dated some of them. Buongiorno! I look lovely, don't I? I'm getting those shoes tomorrow.
This evening, Crystal plans a night out with the girls, but hopes to hook up with one of her shady boyfriends later on. Girlfriends Natalie and Katie have their own theories on why Crystal is drawn to these gangster men.
It's the thrill, it's the... They treat her mean, but yet, you know, she gets drawn in by that.
And a bit of a mystery to him as well.
It doesn't bother her if she doesn't know how they get their money.
Yeah.
I think because where she, you know, she was from the East End of London, she's always been brought up around them sort of people, so she has got that confidence. So some people may find them intimidating, but she doesn't. She just tends to just treats them like, you know, any other person.
Who they are, she will always be as superior as they are.
Tonight, the girls are heading to a favourite local club. Crystal has a hectic social life and is a well-known face on the Essex club scene. Consequently, she always gets VIP treatment. A few drinks down the line, she sets about tracking down a bad boy to ensure the night goes with a bang.
That's not fun, I'll sort that for you. Yeah? Look my number, yeah?
The man she's meeting tonight has been off the scene for quite a while due to occupational hazards.
Anyway, when did you come out or whatever?
I think it's about Feb.
Feb?
Yeah, about February time, yeah.
How long were you there?
Long time, about 3 years, wasn't it?
Really?
Yeah, long time.
That's bad.
Long time.
Bad. Look how big you are though. You look like
not me,
a street
babe.
house.
No, I'm sort of...
You know what you've got to do though? You've got to step up and pay someone else to fucking do it, not you. Don't get your hands dirty.
Yeah, but I like getting my hands dirty, you know
I know you do, but then that's where you get yourself in trouble. You've got to sort yourself out and go a bit higher than that.
Yeah, but I like all that anyway. I like getting my hands dirty and getting stuck.
That's because you're still young, but then you'll get older, and then like when you get older, you'll pay other people to do
it's the thing that I've got other people that do it and they fucked it up, so you might as well get yourself to do it anyway.
Yeah, it is the best way, but then you've always got that risk then, haven't you? That you don't know what's going to happen.
Do you want to go to the after party after this?
Yeah, whereabouts? Is it far from me or what?
Well, after this, I think it's in Chelmsford Way, isn't it?
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, I've got about 6 of us, so that'd be all right.
More the merrier.
All birds.
Yeah, it's all right. More the merrier.
Everything we sorted though, all drinks and
All done.
whatnot.
All done. You know it's all done anyway.
Alright, wicked. Well,
Yeah?
you know, yeah, definitely. Tonight's been a successful night because everybody's had a good time. We've met a few people, we've got a few phone numbers, and obviously we're going to meet up with the people in the future, and there'll be more good nights after this, so that's always a good night. And I'm drunk, so that's a good night.
29-year-old Anne Leach lives with her gangster husband Carlton in Essex. They married just over a year ago after a whirlwind romance.
I proposed to her after a month, and I think within 6 months we was married. Yeah. I think it's something like anything. I'm one of them things. It's like going into a fight. You're on the edge and everything, and I don't shouldn't sort of do that. But you either throw the punch and have the fight, or walk away. I didn't go down on one knee. I just said I want to marry you and all that, and we just walked up the road, found a little restaurant, and we had a bottle of wine and a bit of skate and chips. We have had niggly moments, upset, but everyone does. That's human nature. If you don't know, you can't tell me there's the perfect marriage. Because of having a violent nature and a violent past, I tend to bring that into arguments, like my anger, and I don't really realise I'm doing it. Not physical, but you know, and so I know it's more. It's harder for Anne than it is for me.
Basically, I'm just a saint.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Dancing saint.
Before her marriage, Anne used to work as a lap dancer. She met Carlton when she danced for him during a boozy night out to celebrate his 47th birthday.
I remember the night very well, actually. And there was a big group of guys came in quite late on in the night, and one of his friends called me over and said, "Oh, would you like to dance for my friend?"
I remember one of my mates, she's calling this girl over. She had all pink on, really tall, blonde hair. I don't know, there was something about her. She just sort of, she floated towards me. I don't know if it's because I'm so pissed. You know what I mean? It looked like she was floating.
I got introduced to him. We went for a dance. His friend paid for him to have a dance. I'd heard of him, so I knew his reputation and stuff like that, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of it. He was probably a bit more interested in me as a person, I would say, than me as the dancer.
Just something, I looked at her, I thought, she's gorgeous. I did think that. I did think she was nice there. It's a bit tall. I went, fuck, you know. I said, you're along, didn't you? I remember walking to the car and giving her my first kiss goodnight. And I think that was a bit of an experience for her because I was so pissed. I think I ended up pushing off my head in the back of her throat.
Not long after they first met, Anne and Carlton moved in together, and immediately Anne was confronted with the reality of living with a gangster.
When he moved out of his old house and we moved into this, every room you'd go into, there would be some sort of weapon or something like that, and it was to the extreme. It was. I sort of said to him, now we've moved into it, I said, look, you've got to stop being so over the top about this because it's sort of, that can end up ruling your life and you'll make yourself think that something's going to happen. To me, I think it got a little bit over the top.
I sort of never kept in a place more than sort of for 18 months. A lot of times I like flats and things because I can see like cars coming in and all that. It's just my lifestyle because I think I was a bit paranoid and things I've done in the past and everything. You know, I've still got people, stuff in the past, enemies, you know what I mean? That could always come back and kick you in the face, you know what I mean? So.
Carlton Leach's life of violent crime began before Anne was even born. From a young age, he was a major face in West Ham United's inter-city firm, a group of die-hard hooligans who brought mayhem to football grounds across England throughout the 70s and 80s.
From the beginning of time, from the fucking caveman, people fought other fucking tribes. Life is about fighting. Fighting's still going on there. Everybody fights. The idea was to get in there and take it. Basically, you run in, start singing West Ham, and there'd be a big opening, and you'd sort of take your thing, and that's it. You took the end, and you'd stand in there.
Give a little clap at it. United or Hammers or something like that. Let the rest of the
really,
there.
if there was 4 punches landed, you'd be lucky. It was more like rushing, all the noise, and big gap. It was like a big family. Great days. And I must admit, it's a good breeding ground for criminals. There's a lot of top criminals that come out of football services. Believe me, yeah. And earn a lot of money and all.
Carlton's years with the ICF were his entree into the criminal underworld that would come to dominate his life.
He moved on to the muscle industry, collecting money, protecting money, going on meets. I don't know, just so much has happened. You know what I mean? I'll have to make a film about it.
Rise of the Foot Soldier is an ultra-violent feature film that charts Carlton's climb up the criminal chain from football hooligan to Essex underworld boss. Anne hasn't seen the film and knows little about Carlton's life as a gangster. But with the West End premiere looming, she will soon have to confront her new husband's brutal past for the first time. Becky Loy lives in the heart of Spain's Costa del Crime, where she's been in a relationship with a gangster for 8 years.
You know, you get adrenaline junkies. Maybe I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Maybe that sort of I'm going away and then that phone call, I'm coming back, and all that just gives you that extra bit of buzz that makes you just feel that little bit more alive.
Before moving to Spain, Becky worked as a nurse and had been married to an engineer for 27 years.
I mean, my life in England was very conventional. I mean, it was a normal marriage, cooked Sunday lunch, washed and ironed, all the usual things that anybody does. But it wasn't enough for me. There was always something missing. Just happened suddenly one day, we were having a row and my husband said, well, why don't you have a divorce? And I went, yeah, okay.
In 1999, Becky left England behind with dreams of starting a new life. She'd been in Spain for 2 months when she met the gangster who would become her next husband.
I arrived in Spain October, and Christmas night, my girlfriends and I had been invited to a local bar for Christmas afternoon. So we're having a few drinks, we're up and dancing, and all the locals are wondering who we are. I got introduced to this guy called Alex. He came over, sat by the side of me, picked up my hand and kissed my hand. And that was it. I was just like a jelly.
When Becky got together with Alex, he had recently moved to the Costa and was trying to establish himself on the local crime scene.
When I met Alex and found out what he did, there was a bit of excitement, I think, there. Almost a bit of come-upmanship as well on the other women. Where we used to live, the women got very excited at the thought of a Tupperware party. And I'd be sitting with Alex going, well, you don't know what he does. You know, I've got a far more exciting life than you. And, you know, if we went into Portobellouse, I walked around with my head up because I'd got this guy who was strong, very sexy, and I felt $1 million without $1 million, if you know what I mean.
Despite the 23-year age gap, Becky and Alex's relationship thrived, and in 2003 they decided to get married.
We'd been together 4 years by then, and we wanted to cement that relationship, to show that I accepted his life, he accepted me, the age difference, absolutely everything. It was honestly the happiest day of my life. It's not an easy life because he disappears. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's coming back. Maybe he's going to get killed, maybe he's going to get caught, maybe he'll end up in prison. You don't know. I mean, I have many sleepless nights. You accept this. If you want to stay with somebody like this and you love them, you accept that part of them. But we have some awful arguments. Horrendous arguments, yes? It's a hard life. Being a gangster, it's an even harder life being a wife of a gangster.
Since getting married, Anne and Carlton have lived in a 2-bedroom flat in a quiet Essex village, which Carlton has transformed into a shrine to all things gangster.
Obviously, you're in the junk room, the spare room, which is like my little collector's room. Obviously, in films, that's probably the biggest love of my life. Sopranos, great series. We've got the Godfather series down there. Anything to do with action, anything to do with Second World War, you know, anything to do with villainy. I like any gangster film, you know. I like any violent film, really. Quite sad, don't I? This picture, one of my favourite pictures, because obviously, I don't know if you've seen Scarface, but he's on the balcony and he's looking down at his enemy, and they're all just coming to kill him. He's got a machine gun, and he goes, "Shut up, my little friend," and he's got the thing firing down. So what happens when you come up the stairs? It's the same picture. He's looking down at you, so you've got the gun, but you've got to have seen the film to know it. And he's looking down. So what you do as you walk in the door, I just like people to see that, just to remind them, "Shut up, my little friend."
When Anne married Carlton, she became stepmother to his 6 children from previous relationships.
You've got Carl, he's the youngest of the boys, he's 9. We've got Matty, he's the oldest, he's 32. There's Carly, 25, Jamie, 20, Jodie, 15, and Madison, 4. Yeah. So, 6. Is there 6? Yeah. I think she gets on just well with all of them, but I just think she's a natural, you know? You like her, don't you, Cole? Sexy, isn't she? Sorry.
Carlton's eldest daughter, Carly, is just 4 years younger than Anne. She witnessed the chaos of her dad's gangster life as a teenager growing up.
I'd always know that my dad was in that sort of lifestyle. He was classed as a gangster or whatever they called it, because we'd be out and something would happen in a certain club, and it was one of the people that used to work for my dad. They'd do something to somebody and the club would shut down, and then people would hurry over to me and say to me, "Right, your dad's been took away, you know, he's been took out the back door, and you're going to be looked after for the rest of the night, and, you know, he's in a safe place and we're going to take you to him when you leave here," and, you know, just stuff like that, stuff that happened that you think, well, that's not normal, you know your dad's not normal. I've had him sleeping on my sofa for weeks and, you know, going through his rough times and his ups and downs and whatever, but it's only recently he's changed, and you can see everybody says to me, "God, your dad, he's really changed." Everything's so much different now. Yeah. I mean, since he's been married to Anne, he's a different person. Only recently, I can't say to you, "Oh, he's been a different man for years," because he hasn't, and it's only been since he's been married to Anne.
When I got with him, I said to him, I made it quite sort of clear, when I said to him, I had my life was sorted, I had my own place to live, I had my money, I could have whatever I wanted within reason. I said to him, if I'm going to be with you, I'm going to be with you because we're happy and stuff like that. If you want to live that sort of life that you've lived, live it, but don't live it with me because I don't need it in my life.
Before meeting Anne, Carlton specialised in muscle for hire. Throughout the 90s, he was boss of one of the most feared and respected security firms in the Essex underworld.
People started talking to me about me as this Carlton Leach and everyone, these boys. It was something that sort of grew around me. You've got to be hard and you've got to be quite cold at times. And you can't take no shit. So you deal with situations the way they've got to be dealt with, i.e. someone comes with a knife, you do them with a knife, gun for gun. It's got to be like that. We were willing to go that far. We were willing to do whatever he did, and we would have killed.
Good, come on. And again. Good boy.
Carlton's film pulls no punches in its depiction of the brutal acts of violence which were an everyday part of his life.
Please. Please. What do you want me to do, eh? Stand here and watch my mate fucking die? Is that what you fucking want?
It's a harsh world he's been trying to leave behind since meeting Anne.
She's not really asked about my past. Because normally most women are very inquisitive, aren't they? They want to know the ins and outs of a dog's arse, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But obviously, she didn't want to know that person.
He's got the film and everything coming out about him. For me, it is strange because I'm sitting back and I'm going to be watching a person and I'm going to be seeing, and is that person going to be necessarily the person I know now? So it's going to be strange.
If she can take my past on, she's some sort of woman. Yeah, a special woman.
Crystal and her friend Natalie have left Essex behind and are soaking up the rays at an exclusive beach club in Marbella. Glamorous bolt hole for generations of British gangsters.
Yeah, we've just arrived in Marbella on holiday just for the week, out here to find some lads and...
Yeah, cause mischief.
Yeah, have some fun. Anyone comes here, you either go here, Saint-Tropez, Monaco, all them sort of places. They're where I find the sort of people I like to hang out with.
When she's in Spain, Crystal often visits her family, who have moved to the country. They originally lived in London's East End during the classic gangster era of the 1960s.
My dad knew the craze like back in the day, but then most people in the East End, they all knew each other anyway, so that's not really unusual. But he was more the one, I think he was a bit more cleverer, to be honest, because he obviously, he earned his money and he got out and he never got into trouble. So I'd say he was really a success story from all of that, really.
Today, Crystal is visiting her older sister, Lorna.
Everything's messy today. These are all my Hello magazines and my OK magazines I've been collecting since I was 16. I'm about 10 missing out of the whole of Hello collection, and I think I've got all of the OK. All of them now.
Because Crystal's family has known gangsters from the East End, they've always been understanding of the reasons why people commit crime.
Everybody wants money. Everybody wants nice clothes. Everybody wants a nice house. And basically, the only way to get that is through crime. If she meets somebody new and, you know, and they're taking her out and so on, she does tend to bring somebody home to one of us. She definitely tells us about it. Because we are that bit older and we are that bit wiser, we do look and we do pick holes. There is a level that you have to draw. You know, there is petty crime. I mean, obviously not hurting people, you know, not killing people.
That's the sort of gangster drugs. We'd never accept someone that was hurting people and stuff like that.
Drugs and things like that is a no-go. You know, that's wrong. We know what's right and wrong, in a sense. You know, we know it's wrong for somebody to go out and thieve out the shop and get something. We know that. But then, you know...
We don't see that as a major
We don't see that as a major thing when there is worse going on in the world.
With us, if we want something, like the women in the family, if we want something, then we'd ask, like my mum would ask my dad and she'd ask her husband and stuff. We'd ask them for them and they'd just find it. They'd get it somehow because they're going to get it. Whereas if you ask a normal guy, I have to wait till the end of the year till my paycheck to da-da-da, whereas that's not acceptable. We want it now and it's got to be big.
I can remember being at, you know, with my first husband and saying, oh, but we need milk. And he'd say, well, I haven't got any money.
Where if you was with someone, I can only go back to someone from the East End. I mean, there is other people in other areas who are the same, but he'd go out and he'd nick that bottle of milk. If you need that milk, you've got to have it. And that's the difference between a 9-to-5 man and a criminal. At the end of the day, she's not really asking for much, I don't think. It ain't all about, you know, doing dodgy things, but I think in this day and age, well, now, more so now, if you don't do the dodgy, you don't get anywhere.
Back at her holiday apartment, Crystal and friend Natalie are getting ready for a night out in the Gangsters playground of Porto Banús.
Yeah, we're meeting up with a bunch of guys that we met. I actually met on a previous holiday out here last year. They know a lot of people, so therefore we'll just walk straight into the bars with them and we'll get like the free drinks and stuff like that. They are people that have moved out of here for certain reasons and stuff. I don't know, it's just easier for them to like hide out and easier to clean all their money up. Yeah, they just lead a good life really, they don't work at all.
Crystal spends several months of the year on holiday, and many of the gangsters she dates can be found on the international party scene that exists between London, Essex and the Costa del Sol.
I do like this sort of life, and that's the sort of life that they sort of like show you that you could have. That's how they entice you and reel you in.
The bar in which Crystal has arranged her gangster dates tonight is strictly out of bounds to film crews.
I've met up with the people that we were going to meet up with, and it's been all good. You know, we've got all the drinks, all that sort of stuff. We've had a right laugh. They wouldn't come on camera or anything like that because, you know, for obvious reasons. But yeah, it's all good. We're going to go clubbing with them later on and get some champagne. You know, same old, really. Good night. Yeah, been a good night so far.
It's 2 months since we first filmed with Becky. During that time, her gangster husband, Alex, has been experiencing financial difficulties, which has caused pressure in the marriage.
I don't know if something's gone wrong, whether his meetings are going wrong or whether it's me, whether it's his business, I don't know. I'm going to be honest, at the moment, I'm a little scared of him. His temper is uncontrollable at the moment. He's having trouble coping with just normal, everyday stuff. He doesn't understand the whole concept of if you love somebody, you'd give your right arm for them. Alex wouldn't. He'd give me somebody else's. I'm trying to hold it together. There's part of me wants to run away, but I don't quit that easily. Certainly not on a relationship that was so special for so many years. I mean, I loved him. I do love him. But I don't know if I can keep it going enough. I don't know if the love's strong enough to get over this bad patch.
Becky and Alex have had trial separations in the past. This time around, Becky is visiting a relationship counsellor to help her decide if there is any future in the marriage.
I mean, here I am, 57 years old. Alex is only 34. Was I stupid to think it would ever last? He always said he'd be there for me when I got old and decrepit and what have you. Now I think he'd probably run out on me if I had a cold. The trouble with gangsters is they've got such blinkered mentalities into the sort of work they do. I don't think reality, relationships, love and all the other normal bits and pieces that we take for granted ever comes into their scenario of thinking.
Hello, Becky.
Hi, Louise.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for seeing me. I just feel like I'm going through a whole state of conflict at the moment. I don't know what position I am in the relationship. His gangster life he can handle, but anything small that's what we consider normal, he can't handle. I still love him, but am I wasting my time? Is it going anywhere? Am I hanging on to a memory rather than accepting the situation as it is?
Have you ever thought, Becky, that it might be an addiction that you have for him?
Addiction, obsession, yeah, I've thought about it. Am I in love with the idea of being in love? I don't know. He can make me feel very loved, but then he can also make me feel like I'm nothing. And in the arguments, I've actually said to him sometimes, why do you make me feel like I'm no better than a piece of dirt on the floor? And then he'll say, oh, I know you, you know I love you. And just the way he says that just makes me forget what he said before.
Or would you actually miss the life that he brings you? Would you miss that? Would you miss the excitement? Would you miss the adrenaline rush?
A little bit, yeah.
You have a choice of walking away. There is no blame. That is the way he is. You choose to stay with him. If you choose to stay with him, you have to take the responsibility of how he is.
Back in Essex, it's the week of Carlton's premiere. Before Anne sees the film for the first time, Carlton wants to take her to see an old friend who might help explain more about his violent past.
You've got the card, haven't you?
Yeah.
The bodies were discovered down a secluded farm track at around 8 o'clock this morning by a local man. All three had been shot in the head at close range with a shotgun.
The climax of Carlton's film focuses on the gangland execution of his best friend, Tony Tucker, and two criminal associates in the notorious 1995 Range Rover shootings.
The film ends with three of his friends being shot and murdered in a Range Rover at the end. One of those people was his best friend.
You know, whatever Tony was to you know, what the public see him in his film, it was as much as a brother he could have with anyone, do you know what I mean? And it was a strong relationship. You know, our friendship was different to what I'd ever had with anyone else with Tony, you know what I mean? And then obviously, like, lost him, so, you know, and then that's where we are today. The film telling a story about two men's friendship and, you know, and how it ended down that country lane.
Carlton was so close to Tony Tucker, he was convinced that he too could be a marked man. His friend's death is a symbol of how dangerous and out of control his own life had become in the years before meeting Anne.
Tony was his best friend. He was one of the most important people in his life at that time. And I think now time's moved on. I'm the important person in Carlton's life. He wants to take me to the grave for the first time, to go down there with him and sort of, as he puts it, introduce me to him.
I wish that, you know, you could be alive and to have been at the wedding and seen us getting married and seen me being happy, you know what I mean? But he may be from up there or from wherever he is. Or it's out there, wherever he is, looking down or looking round or looking up, I don't know. All right, Tone. Oh, no. It's all right. I'll stick it in there anyway. Hello, mate. Well, this is my wife, Tone, Anne. I'll bring her over to meet you. I'm very happy now. Everything's sorted. Pity you weren't about, but I still am, and here we are. Do you want to talk to him?
No. No, it's nice.
As nice as it can be.
Yeah, yeah.
See you later, bruv. Still miss you.
I think it's nice to come with Carlton, come and see the grave and meet someone who was like one of the most important people in his life, someone who he loved and cared with, and for me to meet them in a strange way, but to meet them like that. Obviously, it's the first time I've been to the grave, so it's a bit strange to be filmed doing that because it's the first time and it's quite private. But now we've come, it's nice, and I'm sure we'll come again.
You're the first person I brought over here.
Is it?
It's the day of the film premiere, and Anne and Carlton have come to the Savoy Hotel in London's West End to get ready for the big night.
Today is obviously the first day I'm going to see the film. I wouldn't say I'm too worried about what I'm going to see because I pretty much know the story of it anyway. But that said, I'm not the sort of person who enjoys violence. It's not really my thing. The only thing I would say is sometimes when things are visualised and you see it on film, then perhaps it can you realise more on what actually went on. Hopefully, I would say that I won't come out too shocked.
As long as the people that care about me like it, that's all that matters. My mum, dad, my daughters, my family, my wife, that's all that matters, really. Hey, look at that, looking sharp. Whee!
Because of its extreme violence, Rise of the Foot Soldier looks set to become one of the most controversial releases of the year.
This is the East End bit, like drinking half-pint glasses, you know what I'm saying?
As a result, the film has attracted much media interest.
For Carlton Leach, it began in the 70s with violence on the football terraces. Then he became a drug dealer, bouncer and gangster, part of the notorious Essex drugs gang that spread murder and mayhem in the early 90s. Was it the killings that made you think twice about that as a lifestyle, or what made you change direction?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's that close that you wake up and your mates are gone. Then in the day, I mean, you could have a big wake-up call on that.
This crime thriller was produced on a shoestring £1.5 million budget, but pulls no punches when it comes to brutal gang violence. The Rise of the Foot Soldier will be released on Friday. Marcus Powell, London Tonight.
And if it wasn't blindingly obvious, it is a very, very violent film.
Fucking cheek. Fucking violent. Who's violent? Bye, babe.
You right?
Yeah. Where's my wife?
Carlton and Anne must travel from their hotel to Leicester Square, where more cameras await.
Where's the lights? Fuck hell.
Hey,
How you feeling, Carl? Yeah, a bit nervous now. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how I'm going to react to where we're going to react. Obviously, we're both virgins to this. I don't know, really. It's quite strange because it's an all new territory for me. It's not like my normal lifestyle. It's completely different. So we'll wait and see. Who is it? Just leave off now. I'm not interested now. I want to get you.
Some of the stories from Carlton's past that will be shown on the big screen tonight have never been told outside gangland circles. Not even to Anne.
Carlton, how does it feel to have a film made about you?
Very surreal. But no, it's really amazing. Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's like a dream come true, really.
I mean, everyone's going to say about the violent side of it, you know. Yeah. Yes, it is a violent film, but it's the real world. And it's a nasty, horrible, dark world. And I was lucky enough, thank God, to get out of that world.
As Carlton and his screen alter ego schmooze the media, Anne lines up to watch the film for the very first time.
I know, no, sir. Proud of you, mate. Proud of you. Yeah, phone's turned off. Thanks, bud. Phone's turned off. Dave never turns his fucking phone off. It's ringing all the time.
Nobody knows, OK? Just give me the keys now and I'll meet you later.
What?
OK. See you later.
In Spain, Becky and her gangster husband Alex are still in the midst of a trial separation. However, they share a car and see each other every other day.
At the moment, we're seeing each other for about half an hour, but even in that half an hour, it's abusive. And I'm better than that. I deserve more than that. I've given him everything. I deserve the loving relationship we had at the start. And if he could just focus on that for a moment and forget cars, apartments, they're not important. Nothing like that is important. Not to me. I'd rather live on the streets and have a loving man by my side than in a big villa and a big car.
Crystal's relationships with gangsters have always been casual and short-term. She does hope to marry one day, and the suitability of a gangster as husband material is a regular conversation topic.
No, don't talk about anything like that.
Would you kind of marry? Well, would you marry a gangster? With your perception of them now and from the history and stuff and what you know and things like that, would you marry one?
I kind of think that's what's going to happen. Because I don't seem to meet anybody else. Like, I don't seem to meet people on the straight and narrow and stuff like that.
Because when you go out, because in your mind you're looking for that sort of person.
But everybody has a type, don't you? Even if it's the type about looks.
You know,
and that's
for
what
sure.
you want.
But you're so... I don't think you could ever see what a normal person had to offer in a way. I hate calling them normal because that's such a wrong word.
What, a life full of boredom?
Not necessarily though.
Like, I get home from work, I'll cook dinner, I'll give them their dinner. Then they'll want to watch a DVD or TV and then maybe have sex and then go to bed. You know what I mean?
Well, what does the gangster do different then?
Boring. Well, we'll go out, or like, he won't work all day, he won't work regular hours. No, then we'll go out, we'll go shopping, or we can just say, oh, we're going away this week, or, oh, I had a good week this week, Crystal. Here's some, like, go do this or whatever, and just treat me and, you know.
So it's just the way they treat you. It doesn't matter necessarily.
It's not all to do with the money, no. It's their attitude as well.
I know it's hard to understand. Why did we ever start? We're more like strangers now.
I think sometimes younger girls can perhaps not have their eyes open properly when they go into this.
I have laughed, I have cried.
At the moment, I hate him for what he's putting me through. I don't sleep at night anymore because the slightest noise, I'm awake, I'm jumpy. It's not the way to be. And it's very hard to say that sort of thing when, as I say, I still love him very much. I need to take stock, and I don't think that's going to happen overnight. I think I need time out. We don't know what tomorrow brings. I mean, I may wake up tomorrow and, I don't know, maybe something will happen that will make me realise that there is still life after Alex.
Two weeks have passed since the film premiere, and Carlton and Anne have had time to reflect on her dramatic introduction to his violent past in the underworld.
I was a little bit, I don't know, apprehensive about taking her when she first see the film and everything, because obviously, like, I was really sort of letting her into my world by her seeing the film. It's a bit different. It's not like, you know, you're having a conversation with someone and just saying to them, oh, you know, I did this in my past and this happened and this happened. But at the end of the day, you know, she's had to look at me, you know, see, you know, parts of my sex life on screen, the violent side. I was quite worried how she would react to it.
I think seeing the film, seeing the violence, it did in a way sort of make more of a realisation of the way things have been in his life previously. And I'm not naive enough to think that wasn't the way he was. I've known him long enough that seeing that on the screen is not going to change my opinion of him. If he was here in my house stabbing people and things like that, I'd probably start thinking, well, no, I don't think so. But he doesn't bring that sort of thing into our home. That's not the person I fell in love with.
I don't think I would have appreciated a good woman like her on my arm 10 years ago. I don't think she would have been with me. She's too intelligent for that. She's got too much self-respect.
You can meet right person, wrong time, or right person at the right time, and I think that we were fortunate we met the right person at the right time in both of our lives. I would never judge him by his past because he would never judge me by my past. Everyone's got their past. We're in the present now, and I'm with the present Carlton, not the past one.
I've told my story, got it out of my system. A bit of an exorcism in a way. It's a new start, you know. I'm not saying I'm an angel now, or I'm going to start doing fucking charity work and all stuff like that. I'm just me, but, you know, it's new times with a new person.